Hello and welcome back to Off-Road Toyota Exploration. My name is Kai and this is my 2017 Toyota Tacoma. Today we're going to be installing the Cascadia 4x4 hood solar panel kit. The kit, when it arrives, will come in 3 boxes like this. So we'll have the large box that has the solar panel in it, a long tube that will have the vinyl to put on the hood, and then this for the solar controller, the battery controller. So let's have a look at what's inside. Inside we'll have most of the things we'll need to get this installed. In the big box here we'll have the solar panel with a long cable to route it to the controller. We'll have these hook tabs. We'll look at how all of that gets installed. Get some additional tools here, zip ties to get everything installed. And here we still have the vinyl. We'll have a look at that in a minute when we get that installed. And then here we have a solar charge controller. So this is what's used to take the power from the solar panel, bring it to the battery, and then you can even add another accessory that can be controlled with this so that you don't drain the battery. So provide an instruction manual here. It's very thorough and seems very good. We'll go through as we install the whole kit, but it has a lot of detail of everything that's needed, including little notes and everything. So these are all the things that come with the solar hood kit, and then these are some additional supplies that are needed to get everything installed. So we've got 2 spray bottles here. One of them we're going to put some soapy water in. One of them we're going to put some rubbing alcohol. And then we've got some microfiber towels, paper towels, we'll see if we need those. And then calls for some scissors and some latex gloves. See if we need those, and we'll kind of go through it. Does a very thorough job of explaining every step. Additionally, here we'll show the spacing that we'll need to give back from the hood to position it correctly. But we'll go through all of those steps as we get there. So let's get started. If your truck is lifted and pretty high, I'm 6'5", but it's still hard to reach all the way up in the hood. So I just put down some pallets here to make it easier to reach. And so the first thing we'll need to do is clean the hood. Got some dirt on there and everything. So we'll take some of the soapy water, clean the hood nicely, and then we'll need to spray it down with some alcohol, let that dry, and then we'll go ahead and get the vinyl ready and apply it on there. So that was the first step of our install. So we cleaned the hood thoroughly. Now we're going to go ahead and spray it down with some isopropyl alcohol. Let that dry off. And then the next step is for us to start getting the vinyl ready. You can see an idea of how it looks like. What we're going to do is peel off the backside and then get it all soapy and wet, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same to the hood, get it all soapy and wet, and then we can put the vinyl on, get it positioned correctly, and then here we can see, based on the kit you have, you can look these up on their website, but for the 3rd gen Tacoma, it's going to be the last one here, the CHF 159. what we're going to do is we're going to position it 10 millimeters from the top edge of the hood back, and then make sure we get everything nice and centered and go from there. So let's spray some alcohol on there, get it all cleaned, and then we'll get started on putting the vinyl on. Now we can go ahead and get our vinyl ready. Comes on this sheet with the white backing. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and peel off the backing, turn it around, put a lot of soapy water on the back as well as on the hood, and then we can start and get it positioned. As we saw in the instructions, we want to align the top of the vinyl with the top of the hood, and based on what we saw for the 3rd gen Tacoma, we want to position that 10 millimeters from the top. So we'll get our ruler ready so we can position that correctly, and we'll go from there. Definitely worth having an extra set of hands. We'll make sure to spray it down as you take it off so it doesn't adhere to itself. And then we'll go ahead and make sure we spray the hood down thoroughly. Rather have too much soapy water than too little. We can position it nicely and correctly. There we go. Now we can start to make sure we get it in the right position. As we said before, we might want to measure about 10 millimeters at the top. Right now we're looking at about 25. We want to move that up a little bit. So make sure we spray some more water underneath it as needed. Make sure it doesn't stick until we're ready for it. There we go. Now we can start measuring all the way around to make sure we get it in the right position. now that we have it positioned exactly where we want to, we'll spray some more soapy water on it. And then in the kit that they provide, they have a little squidgy tool. Squidgy tool, and they've got a little padded side down. I'm going to start using that to gently push out the water from underneath the vinyl. Kind of start in the middle and then gently push it out. Nice and slowly, just to make sure we don't change the position of the vinyl. Go from the center outwards to make sure we get all the water and bubbles out. Once you've gently pushed out as much water as you can, and it seems like it's secured down, start applying a little bit more pressure, pushing it out a little bit harder just to make sure get all the bubbles and all the air out. Make sure you keep a nice shallow angle on the little scraper so that you don't catch any of the holes or so. So now we have the vinyl installed. It came out pretty well. You can kind of see here a few little bit of dirt underneath there. It's from when I was trying to peel it apart. I guess got a little bit of dirt in there, but it still seems to be sticking pretty well. So got that on there. Got all the water and bubbles out, so everything's good. It's centered pretty well in there. And so the vinyl serves two purposes. One is to protect the hood from the underside of the solar panel, so there's no scratching or rubbing or anything on there. And then the second is to help position the pads that we're going to use to actually hold the solar panel in place. So each hole will get a Velcro type thing. It's like a hook system. There'll be a little hook plate on the back side of the solar panel, and then one that we will stick to each one of these holes in here. And then the solar panel will clip to that, and then the solar panel will actually also be removable if we wanted to take it off. So we'll go ahead and let this dry a little bit more. We can use a heat gun as well if we want to help it along. But I'm here in Florida, so it's pretty warm, so it's drying off pretty quickly. So we'll let it dry for a second, and then we'll go on to the next step and start getting the solar panel on here. Alright, so now we have the vinyl all secured, everything's dried and ready. Now we're gonna go wipe it all down with some more alcohol just to make sure it's all nice and clean. And then next step, we're going to use the 3M adhesion promoter. We're going to fill in each one of the holes just to make sure it's nice and clean and ready to hold the 3M tape that we're going to use to stick down in there. And then once we have that all ready, let it dry for 2 minutes or so. And then we'll go ahead and start installing these little Velcro pads, little hook tabs, and these are already pre-installed on the back of the solar panel. And these ones get installed on the hood, and that's what it locks into. So, to make sure that they stick very securely, use the adhesion promoter and clean each surface with that, and then it will stick in there nicely. And then we'll go ahead and get these installed. So now we'll go ahead and use a fresh microfiber towel and some more isopropyl alcohol and just spray, kind of wipe the whole surface, and especially the holes where we're gonna have those Velcro tabs. We'll go around. For the next step, we'll go ahead and put on some gloves. It says so in the instructions, and there's some warning labels on here, so I'm not sure if it's good for the skin or not, so we'll just put on some gloves just to be sure. It's got this little pad in here. We'll use that to kind of wipe down each hole. Make sure we cover the whole hole. And it says it's okay to get some on the vinyl. Make sure we cover the whole surface. Go ahead and let that dry for a few minutes, and then we'll start by placing in the Velcro tabs. Alright, so next up we'll go ahead and get these guys installed. We'll need to just peel them off here and then stick one in each hole, and we want to make sure it fits in there evenly. Ideally there's a little bit of space around it and we don't get it on the vinyl. So start and see how we can go. So now we have all of the tabs installed. You see, I'm going to try and leave a little bit of a gap around each one. So, got them all installed, firmly pressed down. Wipe down the center of the vinyl. So now we can go ahead and get the solar panel put in place. To get the solar panel in place, we're going to position it on here gently. We won't stick on these until we push it down. So we're going to put it on here, get the position right. It should go all the way to the edge of the vinyl and cover it all up. So we'll take our time, get it positioned correctly, and then we can go ahead And we'll push it down all the way along the edge. Make sure that all of the tabs hook into each other, into the back of the solar panel. When you're putting the solar panel on, just need to be careful that it doesn't bend too much. It needs to stay as flat as possible. So we'll go ahead and get that done. So here we can see the back of the solar panel. It's got this padded foam all the way around with some additional strips in the middle to kind of keep pressure on it. And then we have all the hook tabs around the side here as well. And those will line up with the ones that we have on the hood. So go ahead and get this positioned correctly, and we can go from there. Padding is a little bit sticky, it makes it a little bit hard to move around. Take our time, slowly get it into position. We can start from the top, lining it up. Got it positioned exactly where we want it, covering the vinyl all over. There's probably about 1 millimeter of play on each side, so that's good. Make sure you get it positioned correctly. The hook tabs aren't going to stick to each other until we push it down, so it's just a little padding that's a little bit sticky to help seal it off nicely. So once you get it positioned correctly, we'll go ahead and start pushing down the hook tabs, and then they'll be in the position it's going to stay in. Go. Go over it again just to make sure all of the hook tabs are in. You can kind of hear them when they're engaged. And once they're engaged, they don't make any more noise. Go. And there we go. So now we have the solar panel securely mounted on the hood. Looks pretty good. So the next step is going to be routing the cable down behind the hood. We'll tuck in from there behind the hood, and then we'll route that to the solar controller and get that connected to the battery. So So here we have the solar panel, cable. So the solar panel comes out and goes through behind the hood. Goes through there. So we're going to do just have it go through there over that weather seal. And then I'm going to tie it in with the other cables running along the back here. Run it all the way to the side here. And then we're going to put the Cascadia control box here. This little breaker switch on top. And tie the solar panels into there. And then we can route the battery cable around and tie those into the battery. And then we'll still have the accessory hookup, which will run from there down. And I'll show you in the next video what we're going to use that for. So we'll go ahead and get that cable nicely routed with some zip ties along the back. And then we'll mount the control box right here. So here we have the VSS System 2.0 MPPT solar charge controller. So this one we're going to mount right here. And then the way that it's mounted, it's got this flat surface back here. And they provide some of this VHB 3M tape. So we'll get that here to the back here. And then we're can mount that on there. And then they've provided this cable that can plug into the back here from where the battery output is. So this one will get connected to here, and then this one we can tie directly to our terminals on the battery here. So we'll go ahead and get the adhesive put on here, clean that surface there as well, and stick that in place, and then we can get the cable installed. So first thing we'll do is get this on here. We'll use some alcohol, get this cleaned up, and then we'll peel off the yellow surface and get that lined up and stuck on there. We'll go ahead and use our yellow bottle with the alcohol in it, and we'll spray a little bit on here, and then use paper towel, just rub that in. See, dry off. Once that's completely dry, go ahead, take our tape, peel off the yellow side, and get that installed on here. And then for the next step, we'll go ahead and use some alcohol, clean the surface on there, and then get this in place over there. It was a little bit hard to get that. Get this positioned here nicely. And this box here is the main fuse block for the vehicle. So it's not ideal having all of this mounted on top of that. Makes it a little bit hard to access, but it's about the only place available underneath the hood. There we go. Got that mounted in there. Go ahead and mount this guy on here. Use some VHB tape for that as well. And then the solar panel cable plugged in here. The battery cable goes in here. And our accessory will be here. Alright, so we have that in place. That's back on there. So it's all good. So now we'll go ahead and get the cable routed along here. And then we've got a little bit of extra cable here, so we'll wrap that up and we'll get that connected here. And then we'll go ahead and plug in the battery and we'll be good to go. Solar panel cable routed nicely along the top here. Over here. Those two connected. And I went ahead and took the fuse out of this one and taped it up until we use it. That's for the accessory. And then now for the battery, we'll go ahead and get this routed through. Connects directly here to this one. And go ahead and route that underneath here. As well. So that's it. Got it all wired in. It's got a little light blinking here, orange light blinking, orange light on, and then a green light blinking. So we'll go ahead and go over to the app, get that downloaded, and get it set up from there. So as I mentioned, the charge controller also allows Bluetooth connectivity. So Cascadia made an app to be able to connect your phone to the charge controller through the app called Cascadia Tether. You can easily download that through the Apple Store or Google Play. They also provide a QR code in the instructions. So once you get that installed, you can easily connect to the charge controller and then give it a name. You can also select the battery type that the charge controller is connected to. Once you get that set up, you're good to go. So here I have the app on my phone. I've named mine Tacoma Hood Solar. It takes a few seconds to connect, sometimes a little bit longer than other times. And right now my truck is not running, so it's not getting charged from the alternator. So we can see here we got 58 watts coming in from the solar panel, and it's charging the battery. I also have my accessory connected, but that is currently not on, so there's no power being drawn there. We can see here the system is currently just charging the battery, and then we can also click on the settings here in the top right corner, and then we have two settings that we can control. One is the battery, and this just allows you to change the battery type that's being used with the solar panel, and then you can go in and change the battery if you need to. The second setting we can adjust here is the accessory low voltage disconnect. So I currently have mine set to 12 volts, which is the recommended minimum if you're using this for a starter battery. And then also for the low voltage reconnect, I have it set to 12.6, which is also recommended. It has to be at least 0.6 higher than the cutoff amount. And at the top left here, we have the Bluetooth connection. If you were to have multiple controllers, you could access the different ones here, but that's just what it's showing here. So that was kind of useful. You can kind of look in just to see what's going on with the battery and the solar panel and your accessory, kind of see what's going on. It's not necessarily information that you have to have access to at all times, but it's very interesting to look at and see. It's also interesting to see how much wattage is coming in through the solar panel. It's obviously a 95 watt solar panel, so that's about the maximum that it can bring in. The highest that I've seen is 91.8. And so it seems to be pretty accurate in terms of what it can pull in. Alright, I've had the kit on for about 2 months now. It's been working out great. If you want to see the full review of that, click the video up here. And then I've also made a separate video on the accessory that I've added. I run some cables and added a new accessory, so that's really exciting as well. If you want to see that video, click up here. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Get out there and explore, but don't forget to tread lightly. Cheers.